I'm glad you stayed to the end because this last one, I feel like I might get some little disagreements on. Another unpopular opinion that I'm kind of scared to say because don't cancel me, please. I'm young. I have so much life to live. If you're wondering why I'm wearing a jacket indoors and sunglasses indoors, and I'm speaking into a mini mic, I'm just cool, don't question it. Salut tout le monde, welcome to another video. So I just got home from work. Thankfully, my work has to do with kicking a ball. I love that I'm a pro footballer. It's so cool. I was like, okay, there's a couple of opinions that I have in terms of football that I think are kind of controversial. Yeah, controversial. Who's that girl? Wow, if I could sing, it would be over for you guys. It would be over for all y'all. So, for context, it's match day -1. Today's Friday. We play tomorrow versus Vancouver on Saturday. I'm just vibing. I got home from work, saw my family, hung out a bit, did some chores, a little bit of errands here and there, like very chill vibes. And it's great. I like to not do anything the night before a game. But sometimes, actually, I do. Like, what am I saying? Like, sometimes I like to do things that get my mind off the game because at the end of the day, it is just a game. Even though I want to win, even though I want to play really well, it is just a game. And I feel like you play your best when you're detached from the outcome, but connected to the process. So, anyways, I have some unpopular opinions as a pro footballer, and you and I are just chatting the day before a game. You know, that's the vibe of right now. And I want to hear your take on it as well. If you disagree, agree, let me know in the comments. For context, I'm a midfielder. I play in the Northern Super League. In Canada, I play for the Montréal Roses. I am in my second year of playing professionally. So opinion number 1, and you're probably not going to be shocked that I'm going to say this, but you don't need to be locked in 24/7 to be a good footballer. I know some people that are like that, locked in 24/7, and I used to be people, you know? I used to be that girl that only thought about football, obsessed over football. How can I get better? How can I watch film instead of TV? Like, this is real stuff, okay? I mean, if you know me now, I still don't watch TV or I don't watch movies, really. The only thing I really watch is football. But it's not really in an obsessive way. It's just truly because I don't want to sit down and watch a whole movie when I could be watching football. But not in an obsessive way anymore. It used to be like that. Now I love just watching football for fun. In the beginning, I wouldn't really watch a lot of football. Like when I was a kid, I didn't watch too much football because I thought it was kind of not boring, but like I wasn't into it that much. I was watching it as a chore. And now, whenever I watch it, it's fun. So all this to say, actually, I don't think you need to be locked in 24/7 to be a good footballer. I think having a life makes you a better footballer, hands down. Because the life outside of football should energize you and give you even more purpose on the field. If your whole life revolves around football, I've said this before, you've heard me say this, I think you're gonna be really disappointed when things don't go your way. I think when you tie your identity to football, which is very easy to do when you're locked in 24/7, you're gonna be facing a lot of disappointment. And that is something I learned the hard way growing up because I was like, oh my gosh, I need to get better. I need to do everything in my power, which speaking to my teammates as well, a lot of people have gone through this. I think it's necessary to go through an obsessive phase in a healthy way, you know, like following Kobe Bryant and like those motivational speeches and stuff like that. Understanding that there is an unhealthy way to be obsessed and there is a healthy way to be obsessed. I'm not going to sit here and tell you you should do a wall and ball exercise every Tuesday to improve your touch. I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, every night you should spend 3 hours watching film. No. Whatever works for you. I know some people that love watching film and get a lot of confidence from that. For me, I love balance. I love not over-consuming football content because it is my job. In a good way. Like I said in the beginning of the video, it's sick. The thing is, having a life is way more relaxing and allows your brain to shut off and not completely be overworked. But if I were to tell myself this when I was literally like 17, 15, like, guys, let me tell you, I was really obsessed. Going to all the parks in the world, waking up at 5 a.m., doing the runs. Like, I think that's necessary sometimes in phases of life, but not sustainable. I think you learn a lot in terms of how it's not sustainable for the rest of your life. So it's important to have a family, friends. It's important to have hobbies, other things that disconnect you from the world of football, because over obsessing on the sport, I'm sorry, ladies and gents, for me, it's not the move. Not the move anymore. But there was a time in my life where I did think that was the move. But I'm just here to tell you that there is another way, and that is through balance. All right, moving on. All right, number 2. I think I'm going to talk about midfielders. My opinion is that simple midfielders are underrated. I'm really going to highlight my teammate, Charlotte Bibo. She knows I look up to her a lot. Well, if she doesn't, she'll find out through this video. If you look at Charlotte Bilbao on my team, you're going to see a simple midfielder. She doesn't do all the scissors or like bicycle kicks or like crazy moves. No, she does the basics so well. I think players like that, simple midfielders, are underrated. Being able to consistently get one-touch passes, boom, boom. Being able to consistently get your first touch into space. Highlights don't show everything because the space that a simple midfielder can create for another teammate doesn't always get broadcasted on the TV. They do the simple stuff really well. Scanning, keeping the tempo, changing the tempo, keeping possession, their football IQ. Yeah, quick little talk to say simple midfielders are underrated. Okay, another unpopular opinion that I'm kind of scared to say because don't cancel me, please. I'm young. I have so much life to live. Sometimes I think recovery is harder than training. I don't know if I've said this before, but sometimes it's hard to consistently get 9 hours of quality sleep. Sometimes it is hard to stick to a diet. I mean, not saying that you need a diet or anything, but you've known that I mentioned an 80-20 diet, which is kind of like the diet I follow. I think 80% of whole foods should be consumed and then 20% of whatever you want, whatever junk you want. Keeping that balance, like I said before, it's all about balance. Everything's about balance. My dad would always say, everything in moderation. And I agree with that. In the beginning, I didn't because I thought you had to eat healthy 100% of the time. And me having ice cream will mean that I wasn't going to score in a game or something. Like, you know, like keep your relationship with food healthy, but the basics are so important. Everyone can train really hard. You can put a lot of effort into a training. Anyone can do that. But can anyone eat well, sleep well, foam roll, cold tub, Normatec? You know, there's a lot of things that you got to do to take care of your body. And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to keep up. Sometimes it's hard to remember. Maybe you want to leave right after training because you have somewhere to be. But the actual important thing is to cold tub or is to stretch for an extra 30 minutes instead of leaving right away, you know? So sometimes it's not as easy as it may feel, but it is necessary, and that is a 1% that will help you get way better as a pro footballer. Because recovery requires patience and discipline. Did you know that when you already feel like you're thirsty, you're already 2% dehydrated? So it's like keeping up with your hydration, for example. And some players overtrain because it feels productive. Your nervous system gets tired too. So you need to take care of that. And recovery also includes mental recovery. And I think having a good mental recovery ties in with the other point that I made from before, is that you can't be locked in 24/7. You can try. Let me know how long that lasts. Saying no to extra workouts sometimes. It's actually smart. Okay, my next controversial, unpopular opinion is kind of, yeah, hear me out. I think confidence changes your whole game more than fitness. Because, I mean, you know, on this channel, I talk about confidence a lot. I talk about confidence on my podcast as well. But confident players demand the ball more. Body language obviously affects performance. So when you're confident, you will always play better than a fit person who is unconfident. Don't get me wrong. Being fit is a necessity when you're playing at a high level. Please don't get me wrong with that. But after one mistake, sometimes players disappear mentally. And I'm not gonna lie, maybe 3 days ago that happened to me. I made a couple mistakes and mentally I lost it. I was upset. I was feeling like annoyed and I wasn't able to log back in the moment. That was a weak moment for me. Whatever, it happened. It's a learning moment. However, I believe that overthinking kills instinct. And therefore, when you're confident, you stop hesitating. I think I would always take a confident, unfit player over an unconfident, fit player. 100% of the time. Yeah, we'll see how my career in coaching goes. If I have one. I think confidence is a huge thing, and it is overlooked sometimes. People are so adamant about like doing their runs, which I think you should be doing because you can also get a lot of confidence from putting in the preparation, but mental work also needs to be included. All right, unpopular opinion. Pro footballers are also funnier than you guys think. Please watch my vlogs of away trips, of day in the lives. Like, I'm telling you, my teammates are so funny. Like, I wish everyone had a YouTube channel so you could see how funny they are because, wow. Locker room humor is elite. No one would understand anything if they would walk in because we all have these inside jokes from I don't know how long ago. Teams would be so awkward without any banter or funny jokes or inside jokes. And I think a lot of our success this year with the Roses, yes, we're a good team. Yes, we're talented. But we're just so funny. What I mean by that is that we have insane chemistry off the field as well. We are so tightly knit. And I think my coach says it greatly. He says, we live really well together, which is true. We walk in, we always have a good greeting with everybody. And it's just truly a blessing because I don't know how unpopular this one is, but I think chemistry is a good 90% of a team's performance. You could have a bunch of great players on a team, but if you have no chemistry, I don't know where you're going with that, babe. I'm glad you stayed to the end because this last one, I feel like I might get some little disagreements on. I think most people don't know actually what playing well means in football. I think most players and even fans don't actually know what playing well means. Because people think goals equals good game, or highlights is a good performance, or if you have low mistakes, then that means you've had a good game. But like stats don't always reflect the control of a match. Watching a match and looking at the stats, two different things. You can play badly technically and still help your team win. And you could play clean and safe and whatever, but still not impact the game at all. And then I think, in my personal opinion, I mean, I am a midfielder. I think controlling the tempo matters more than looking good. Controlling the tempo of the game, controlling the rhythm, how the game is being flown, what the flow is of the game. And I think the midfield impact is often invisible because, I mean, like I said before, shout out Charlotte Bibo, one of the best players I played with, actually. You will know. Honestly, next game, just watch her. You will know. And she's not doing anything crazy, and that's why she's so good. There have been so many games, like, for example, this season so far, like, I felt good when I played versus Calgary the second time we played Calgary. But I didn't really affect the game much. Like, I did fine. I did decent. Like, I felt great, but I didn't really affect the game much. So after the game, it's like, maybe I thought I played well, but like in reality, it didn't really affect the game much. So what does that even mean? And then there were some games where I felt like I felt bad. Not this year, but I felt bad in the past. And then I played extraordinarily well. And then it's weird because after the game, it's like, okay, did I play well or did I not play well? And then you have to watch the film in a non-emotional state. And then that's when you decide, how did I actually play? I realize I play well whenever I have fun. And I realize that it's an experience. And then I realize that I am grateful to even be alive and to be standing on the pitch and even to be walking and running. Because at the end of the day, life is so much more than football, even though football is life. Is that too hypocritical? Yeah, those are my hot takes. I'm not sure how hot they are, but let me know in the comments what you think or if you have any unpopular opinions. But thank you so much for following along. I say a message to my future kids is that keep opinions to yourselves. Just kidding. No, imagine. My message to my future kids is to not be scared to share your opinion. As long as it's not hurting anybody or harming anybody, I feel like be confident and share some opinions, even though they might be different than other people's. But like I said, thank you so much for following along, and I'll see everybody in the next video. Au revoir.